Hey guys, Ken from Scrimp Life again. I was going to give you an update on some things that happened over the week. It's been a rough one. And the most recent, I'll give you this one. Let's see if they can find them. So this is my blue marbled female angelfish. I moved her over to the 150 because her mate, he died this morning. Yeah, no idea what happened. Just went in to look at the 60, and yeah, it was kind of sad. The male he was laying at the bottom. I pulled him out, looked at him. He had, just it couldn't have been long. He was still really fresh and shiny, and no real signs of like trauma or anything. Didn't look like he was beat up on. Just passed. I don't know what happened, but. Yeah, kind of bummed. So I moved her in here with the other angels. Got a Smoky in here somewhere and a standard platinum, wherever that one's at. Oh, there she is. And so that was today, and so the last several days I have been dealing with this thing. So this is a 33 long. Showed you this one before. We've had some issues with it all week. Yeah, you can notice the water levels down low. Yeah, this bad boy sprung a leak again and dropped the water level. Put some silicone. It's basically leaking from. So we got this bulkhead here. Well, on the back, below the bulkhead, yeah, you can see it's still got some water. I mean, I've been trying hard to get this thing patched, but I'm trying to make it hold, and it's just not working. But it's not actually coming from the bulkhead. There is a spider crack, and we'll see if I can get a view of that. Yeah, see this crack? Runs all the way down. Yeah, well, it's leaking from the top of that crack up there. I've patched this thing at least 3 times, and I've decided I went ahead and moved all the oranges out that I could. Every time I come in here, this is such a big tank. There's so many places to hide that I've found quite a few more that I'm gonna eventually pull out before I change this out. And I'm going to throw them in that tank and then break this thing completely down. And about the only good news about this is I had to figure out what to replace it with, because I do like the size of this tank. I like the way it's narrow and small and just has this long swimming space. And so anyway, I contacted our pretty much the only fish store in the area. Well, I shouldn't say fish store. Local fish store in the area, which I would much prefer to deal with them than the big chains. But it's Kingdom Aquatics. They switched over to all salt. I mean, they had a lot of salt to begin with, but they did have a freshwater section. They decided to get rid of their freshwater section, and so I called the guy up and asked him if they happened to have anything that in the 4-foot long range, and he said yeah, he had a few of the 40-gallon longs that he'd part with, so he's gonna sell me that. I'm gonna go pick that up today and bring it home, see what I'm dealing with, see what it looks like. He said it had 4 dividers in it to make it 4 10-gallons. I'll probably pull a couple of those out, if not all of them out. I don't really want. I got enough 10 gallons in here, as you can see. But yeah, I kind of like the way this is long. So yeah, I'll be updating again on that some point this weekend, because this, like I said, this whole thing's coming down. The 40 long's going in its place. What I will probably do with this tank, since it tends to be leaking from mostly the top, I'm probably going to turn it into a terrarium for the red claw crabs, because technically this is a reptile tank and it is not meant to hold water. And as you can see, I've not cleaned it up like I said I was the other day, and it's disgusting still. But Yeah, I'm just waiting for that thing because knowing it's not actually a fish tank, and it shouldn't hold water. I've never put much water in it, but I still don't trust it. So I'm probably going to take that tank and, like I said, this 40-gallon crab tank could be pretty cool. Kind of got some ideas on what I might do with it, but it'll have very limited water in it. Shouldn't leak because of the amount of water I have in it in the place where it was leaking before. So I'll be able to recycle and reuse this tank. I mean, before I set it back up, obviously I'm going to try to seal those cracks again since it'll be completely down. But yeah, that'll probably end up being the crab tank. And then the gotta give you a shot of the 60 just because I just really enjoy this tank. I mean, look at the colors on this Gordy River. I mean, he's getting awesome. Turquoises, got some color. The those Monties are getting a little bit bigger. They're still babies, still small. Australians are coloring up nicely. They're getting some nice orange on there. Told you the other day I moved the Odessa barbs in here. They were getting pretty rambunctious and rowdy in those 10 gallons. This gives them a little more space to spread out. And still a little bit of aggression you can see, but that's just the way they are. So at least there's more room for them to swim and get away and hang out. But yeah, I picked up a new light for this guy. It's beams work a lot brighter than the other one. Makes these colors pop a little bit more on this tank. The rainbows, just love it. I mean, I love this tank. It's just so active. They just seem to enjoy themselves a lot. So I got one purple passion, or a Roseus Danio. He got getting a little bit of a scrap with somebody the other day. He had a bunch of nicks on him, and now his stomach's sunken in. So I don't know if he's gonna make it or what. I probably should pull him out, but I don't know. He's really pretty, but I do have a lot of them. But yeah, he seems to be the only one that's not feeling well. I'm sure he didn't eat for a few days when he was beat up. So I'll just keep watching him. Little puffer fish. I don't know what to think about those. Odysseus rainbow or barbs. Those things are just crazy, and puffers are just kind of hanging out all the time, looking around. It's like, hey, what's going on in here? And then fish fighting them all around, and they just kind of look at them like they're crazy. But it's hilarious. Yeah, it's one of those tanks you can just sit in front of and stare at all day, really. But anyway, yeah, just kind of a little impromptu update. Just thought I'd give you a quick one. Oh, and the other thing. Yeah, so this was the other thing about my week. You may notice a little bit of a different setup in here, and that is because the float valve on the rain barrel started leaking. Yeah. The weirdest thing. So I had it sitting on this table, standing over by it, felt a little dampness on my foot, looked down, and okay, there's water under here. Why is there water under here? Started looking. The table it was sitting on had bowed in the middle because the float valve, as it used to be, that one used to be over here, and it was leaking down here. Went down on this there was a table there, and it just completely bowed in the middle and was leaking down the back. Well, you may not remember because I don't know if I showed you, but there was a bucket under there. It was this bucket. I just had a bunch of buckets sitting under there because this is a nice place to keep them out of sight. Well, when it was draining behind here, it was actually falling into the bucket. And because I rarely use that bucket, I didn't know it, and it eventually dripped enough that it filled up the bucket and overflowed a little bit. So I didn't have too much water on the floor, but luckily I found it quick enough. But yeah, so then I had to figure out what was going on. So I drained it, checked it out, took it off, tightened it up, resealed it, did the whole thing, filled it back up with the RO, and wouldn't you know it, it leaked again. But this time I had put these green, basically all they are bin lids, and but it's enough that it will catch any water that drips from either of those float valves. So, yeah, kind of a weird fix for it, but and this is totally temporary. But yeah, so then I found some more water in that green lid. So what I've decided to do for now, until I can drain it again and do all that, is to just keep the water lower than the float valve. I mean, that's the only thing that seems to be working. No leaks, obviously, whatsoever. And it's not like it's really, I'm not losing any water. I mean, that's the float valve right there, and the water level is just below that, so keeps the leaking from happening. So anyway, but yeah, so leaking tank, leaking water barrel, dead fish. Oh, and to get all that, so my wife has been out of town. She had to go have surgery, and yeah, well, I probably hadn't mentioned this in any of my other videos, but yeah, so we've been married over 25 years. Long time, I know. I'm only 44. I mean, people look at me and like, there's no way you're 44. Same with my wife. They think she's like 30, but yeah, we're the same age, 6 days apart, born in the same town. No, we're not related. But yeah, she's gone. We've known each other since high school. Madly in love with her. I mean, it's just a great marriage, and you know, we're rarely apart from each other. So I don't tend to sleep well when she's not around. And I mean, obviously, you have somebody around that long, and you know, plus she was having surgery, and I couldn't go. I tried to figure out a way to get down there, but with work and everything else, there's just no way. So she had a nurse friend of hers go with her. So at least she had somebody there. But anyway, say that to say this. So I was up for about 36 hours total and working and just completely exhausted. And yeah, it's been a rough week. I'll just put it that way. It's been an absolutely rough week. But things are coming back around. Wife had her surgery. She's doing great. She should be home another week and a half or so. Everything is good, and get to talk to her daily now and making sure she's okay. But anyway, so things are starting to pan back out. I'm going to go pick up that tank today. That should remedy that situation. Buddy Zach's going to come over a little bit later tonight. I promised you guys we were going to get a video of his rack and everything, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do that this weekend. If he doesn't do it himself, I will do it. I think he's picking up one of those 40 longs too, and we're going to probably do his tomorrow. So while I'm over there, I'll make sure to get a little tour of his scrimp room. But sorry, I've rambled on enough. It's just kind of a lonely weekend and a lot of things happening. So anyway, thanks for checking it out. And yeah, guys, check out the website too, scrimplife.com. I mean, like I said before, everything on there shows that it's sold out, but that's on purpose. Everything you see on the website is for sale. We've got to figure out a way to redo it so that it doesn't say sold out. Basically what we're doing is just selling as hobbyists. We're not selling directly from the site. So if you want anything on there, shoot us an email. There's a contact us link on there. We'll put something together for you. I mean, if you want just a random package of whatever, you know, maybe you want dozen orange, dozen red, whatever. We'll put something together for you, give you a heck of a deal on it. Yeah, so give us a contact. Also not on the website yet that we need to put on there are the lime green endlers. They are just populating like crazy. Hopefully the snake skins, seen these guys before, absolutely gorgeous. They are breeding very well. Hopefully have those for sale very soon. There we go. Look at these guys. Look at that pattern. Just beautiful. Yeah, those guys, they've been breeding really nicely. Got quite a few fry from them. Then of course you got the leopard tails up here. They're breeding nicely, bouncing back from the loss of all the males. And yeah, just as a test, I put some the lime greens in here, one male, one female, and there are lots of fry from just these two already. So yeah, we'll be putting these up very soon. All right, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll throw another update out there this weekend sometime with the 40 and long, and what I'm gonna do for sure with this one. I'm sure it all kind of comes together as it does. You know, you never know. Get an idea in your head on what you want to do, and then turn around and next thing you know, it's changed 3 times. But yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. Scrimp life. That's the way it works. But I will let you guys go. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.